Today, I am gonna explain Jigsaw film. If you don't know about Jigsaw, then you should watch Saw series. Let me tell you about Jigsaw if you haven't watched it. He is a mastermind. He makes people get into trouble to pay for the sins he has committed in his life. These are such brutal and hard traps that it's impossible to escape. But still, Jigsaw gives people a chance to escape his trap. Due to this, people start valuing life. After it, they don't commit any crime in their lives. Only a few people are able to survive Jigsaw's traps. Jigsaw makes a trap in a way that no one catches him, but Jigsaw dies of cancer. This movie has a story 10 years after Jigsaw's death. We see a man running from the police there. The police were also after him. He reaches a terrace of a building by running. Police surround him there. His name was Edgar. He had a remote in his hand. He says that I've only 17 minutes. He demands a police officer that he wants him. If he doesn't get him, he'll push the button on the remote. Then that police officer comes there with a detective. They ask Edgar that why he's doing this. What's his purpose behind this? To which Edgar replies that I've to kill this police officer at any cost. If I don't kill him, I'll get killed. But that police officer points his gun at Edgar. He asks his policeman to shoot the remote. But before it, Edgar pushes this button. But then a bullet hits Edgar. It doesn't make him die, but he gets injured. Then we see that Jigsaw's game started. We see 5 unconscious people in an empty room. They were being watched with the help of a camera. When they come to senses, they find their faces covered with iron masks. These were tied with a chain. It was connected with the frontal door. Sharp-edged blades were attached to this door. Then a speaker there turns on. A man speaks in a horrifying voice. These 5 people did bad deeds before and therefore they are brought here. They have only a solution to get out of this game. They should say the truth and accept their sins. Afterward, that blade starts moving as it got activated. Chains of the victims were also being pulled towards the door. That voice again comes from the speaker. They'll have to sacrifice their blood in order to get out of here. They were being pulled to that door and the blades. One of those 4 people was still unconscious. A girl remembers that can be saved by sacrificing her blood. She puts her hand in the sharp blade. Her hand starts bleeding. Her mask goes off. She asks her other companions to do the same. They do the same and get saved by sacrificing their blood. The 5th person was still unconscious. He gets conscious in the nick of time. On the other side, we see Edgar in hospital in a coma state after being shot. A police officer tells the detective that Edgar wasn't a big criminal. He used to commit petty crimes. Then we see the hanging body of that man having the mask on his face. A doctor named Nelson removes the mask from his face with the help of his sister. They see that that man doesn't have half a face. It seemed that it's done by Jigsaw. They find a memory card from his dead body. It contained recording none other Jigsaw's. But how's it possible as he died 10 years ago? He was saying that only 4 survivors are left. If you want to save them, then go ahead. Then we see the remaining victims coming to the other room. But their throats were still chained. There was a girl named Anna and a boy named Ryan in those victims. Then Jigsaw's favorite doll Billy comes there. It had a tag in it on which, "Confess your sins," was written. Their chains get stretched one more time. They start remembering their sins and bad deeds. A boy says that I sold a bike to a young boy. But that young boy got killed in an accident after 10 minutes. He says that I wasn't at fault in this matter. Anna says that my baby died by coming down under my husband. The boy who sold the bike gets a tape from Billy Doll. When that tape is played, Jigsaw says that there's also a thief among you. He stole a lady's purse. She was a patient with asthma. She died when she didn't get her medication on time. That thief let her die there and ran. Jigsaw says that he injected poison into his body. 3 injections were injected in front of them and one of them contained a vaccine. One injection contained poison and the other one acid. Then a lady confesses her sin that she stole her purse. She is forced to choose an injection among 3, otherwise her companions would be killed. Getting scared, Ryan asks her to choose the injection. Some kind of numbers were written on those injections. When that girl doesn't choose any injection, Ryan injects all 3 injections to her. SHE gets killed when acid and poison react in her body. All get unchained with it. They notice that the numbers written on the injections are codes. In fact, it was of the door of the next room. After entering the password, that door opened. They come inside a room and Anna screams that why she's being punished for her husband's sin. There Ryan also accepts that he is a sinner since childhood. Even I am cheating on my wife. Then Ryan sees a door. No exit was written on it, but Ryan ignores it and goes inside the door. As he reaches there, his foot gets caught in a trap. Iron wires were embossed under the trap. There was also Jigsaw's tape. He says that you broke a rule. No exit was written on it, but still, you entered. Therefore, you'll be punished for what you did. On the other side, Dr. Nelson and his assistant was checking the dead body. They find a virus found in pigs in this dead body. Dr. Nelson is informed by police about another dead body. It was of a girl in which poison was injected. When Dr. Nelson checks her body, he says that she was injected a dangerous acid. Then the police officer asks him that how do you know about the acid? On which Nelson says that I worked in forces. Terrorists kidnapped me there and I was being tortured. There, people were given acid. We see marks on Nelson's body. Anna and another victim find a door and they go inside it. That door closes automatically. Jigsaw is shown on TV there. At the same time, grain starts falling on them, due to which Anna and the other victim were being buried under it. Jigsaw says that now only Ryan can save you. In fact, Ryan had a lever. Upon pulling it, they both will get saved. But Ryan was afraid that if he pulled the lever, he may die. So he doesn't pull it. Anna and the other victim were buried under the grain to the necks. Sharp tools start falling on them. They get injured. Finally, Ryan pulls the lever. A wire placed near his leg pierces his leg. His leg is cut into 3. Anna and that victim come outside the waiting area. A police officer tells Nelson that his assistant is doing research on Jigsaw for a long time. This is so strange, therefore we suspect her. It is told that blood samples collected from dead people's nails are matching with Jigsaw's blood. That recording was Jigsaw's. Dr. Nelson tells his assistant that the police are suspecting you. She tells him about her special studio. She takes him there. But they didn't know that the detective is having an eye on them. Coming to her studio, she says that I am a huge fan of Jigsaw and he impresses me. Therefore, I like keeping his tools. The detective captures their picture to catch them red-handed. A victim boy finds a tape again. When he pushes the button to play it, he gets hanged upside down through a rope. Jigsaw's recording is also played. Jigsaw tells the hanging victim that you confess half of your sin and hid the remaining. You didn't tell the boy while selling your bike that its brakes are not working. This caused his accident and he was none other than Jigsaw's nephew. Then that victim goes into a blade machine that was connected to that boy's bike. He'll have to press the brake to stop the machine, but that brake was so far. Anna tries to save him, but his body is cut into pieces. Then we see a scene of a hospital where Edgar was admitted, but he wasn't there. The media demands proof of Jigsaw's death from the police. In front of the whole media, the police dig the grave of Jigsaw. They find Edgar's dead body in his grave. It was a sign that Jigsaw is still alive. Therefore, he is still killing people. Seeing the pictures, police go to the studio to arrest Nelson's assistant. They find a mutilated dead body there, on which only 2 survivors are left, was written. Then detective goes to arrest Dr. Nelson, because he was also in his assistant's studio at that time. Nelson tells the detective that the police officer is trying to trap me. That police officer is a murderer and he's blaming me. He shot Edgar as well. Then the bullet found in Edgar's body is examined. That bullet matches the gun of the police officer. The detective goes to the police officer's house to investigate. He finds pieces of people's bodies, Jigsaw pieces, in the fridge. Nelson's assistant tells him that I got to know about the location of this game. They go to that location to prove them innocent. Nelson was suspecting his assistant that she's killing the people, because she was an admirer of Jigsaw and she was following him as well. Then that police officer reaches there and points his gun at Nelson. Seeing this, the doctor's assistant runs away from there. On the other side, we see that Anna and Ryan open their eyes and see Jigsaw in front of them. It was clear that Jigsaw was still alive. Anna and Ryan ask Jigsaw to spare their lives. He says there is one of you who made a mistake and you will both be trapped. Jigsaw says that you hid the reality and didn't say the truth. Ryan got into an accident with his friend because of a car. He blamed his friend's driving for this. Anna's baby didn't die because of her husband, but she killed him, because Anna didn't want to give birth to that child. Anna blamed his husband and he went to jail. Anna was a real criminal, but she didn't get any punishment and she didn't bother. Then Jigsaw gives them the challenge of death. Either you both survive, either you both die. Jigsaw puts a bullet in a gun and says that it can free you. As he goes, he says, "Better look behind you." When Jigsaw leaves, Anna holds the gun to save her life. She was gonna shoot Ryan, but a bullet is fired on her. Due to this, Anna dies. Ryan remembers that Jigsaw said to look behind, but Anna ignored this and she got killed today. 2 keys come out of this gun, but unfortunately, these were broken. As Jigsaw said that it could free them, but now they are broken, it meant Ryan will be unable to come out of it. The police officer is being shot by a faint gun. It makes him unconscious. When he becomes conscious, he finds a trap on his neck. Dr. Nelson was in front of him with the same trap on his neck. Jigsaw says that these traps are laser cutters that will smash their heads. If they want to save themselves, they'll have to confess their sin. They had only a minute to do this. Thigh had a device having 2 buttons on it. The police officer pushes the button facing Nelson. It activates Nelson's trap. He confesses his sin. He says, "I changed Jigsaw's medical file that showed he had cancer." That laser device cuts Nelson's throat. He also dies, but the question is, if he confessed his sin, then why did he die? Now it comes to the police officer who says that I take bribes and release criminals. I put innocent people in jail in their place. As he confesses, his trap gets opened. He thinks that he is safe and gets happy. Then Dr. Nelson wakes up because he didn't die in fact. He wanted the police officer to tell the truth. He plays his confession audio. Here, all secrets are revealed. Now confusion will be clear. In fact, Jigsaw wasn't alive. He died 10 years ago. The game being played was also played by Jigsaw 10 years ago. In this game, the man who was unconsciously lying was none other than Dr. Nelson. He changed Jigsaw's report, therefore Jigsaw brought him here. But Jigsaw saved him before dying. The marks we saw on Jigsaw's body were of a blade used in Jigsaw's game. In the present, the same game was played by Nelson as Jigsaw did in the past. The dead bodies that were found were also someone else. Nelson edited Jigsaw's voice so that everyone thinks of it as Jigsaw's. It is being done by Jigsaw. Nelson wanted to kill the police officer because Edgar killed his sister. But the police officer took bribes and freed that killer too. The bullet that hit Edgar was shot by Dr. Nelson. Afterward, that bullet was changed by Nelson. Jigsaw had 5 people in his game, but Nelson had only 3. The remaining 2 people were Dr. Nelson and that police officer. Telling everything, Nelson pushes that device's button. It activates the laser cutter on police's neck. It cuts his face into pieces. He dies. Here Jigsaw movie ends. Thanks for watching.